Hi everybody, Brian here with another deck profile for you. Today we're going to be looking at Inzektors, and this Inzektor Deck is put together. This is just after the Galactic Overlord release, which was yesterday, the official release. So here we go. Now I have been running Demon Swarm, which is a Yubel Inzektor hybrid up until this point, but now I'm going to switch over to more of a pure Inzektor. So first I have my kind of standard, the 3 copies of Inzektor Dragonfly, and my 3 copies of Inzektor Centipede, 3 copies of Inzektor Hornet. I'm now running 2 copies of Inzektor Ladybug, and 1 copy of Inzektor Gigamantis. 2 copies of Beatron. This is a new guy, and we'll get more into him here in a second. 2 copies of Dark Gruffer. 1 copy of Sangan. 1 copy of Gen X Ally Birdman. 1 copy of Plague Spreader Zombie. And 1 copy of Dark Arm Dragon. And that's going to round out my monster lineup. Then into the traps, we got 2 copies of Torrential Tribute, 2 copies of Call of the Haunted. Now that I'm no longer running Yubel, I've switched out the Limit Reverse for the 2 copies of Call, 1 copy of Solemn Judgment, and 2 copies of Solemn Warning. And Solemn Warnings we're going to talk about here in a minute too. 1 copy of Monster Reborn begins my spell lineup, along with my Dark Hold and my Heavy Storm and Mind Control. Those are all pretty standard, as well as the 1 copy of Foolish Burial. Got 2 copies of Pot of Duality in here, 1 copy of Allure of Darkness, 3 Mystical Space Typhoons, and finally I've got 2 copies of Inzektor X Zeta Hawk, and these are going to get switched out for Inzektor Swords as soon as I get them. Just don't have them right now. Alright, on to discussion time. So the first big change for my deck is now I'm going to be running these guys, the 2 copies of Beatron. And Beatron is new out of Galactic Overlord, and he's a level 4, 1600 attack, 900 defense, insect type. And he has the ability, once per turn, I can send 1 face-up spell or trap card that I control to the graveyard in order to special summon a level 4 or lower insect type monster that's in my graveyard. I can only do this once per turn, but this is going to give me a massive amount of advantages. The first advantage is it's going to let me bring back my dragonflies so I can do my loops multiple times per turn. The second big advantage is it gives me the ability to do things like send away my Zeta Hawks to bring back any one of the number of Inzektors, start those loops, get out quick, seize monsters. So he's pretty awesome. I'm also running the 2 copies of Solemn Warning in here, and honestly, I keep going back and forth on whether or not to run the Solemn Warnings in here. I've got a couple other choices that I have been really looking at, so I'll share those with you. First choice, obviously, is to switch them out straight for Bottomless Trap Holes. Bottomless is a great card, but it can only target monsters that are 1500 attack or more, so yeah. I don't really like that aspect of it. The other card that I've been looking at is Compulsory Evacuation Device, and putting 2 of those in. I like this idea just because it's a chainable trap, and it can really screw up Xyz and fusion summons with a lot with the E-Heroes. You know, they hit their Miracle Fusion, they bring out a Shine, and you're just like, boom, put it back in your extra deck. And that can really frustrate them, because I actually see a lot of E-Hero players that just don't know how to win without using Miracle Fusion. It's kind of funny. Onto my extra deck. I have changed it up a little bit. I do have 1 copy of Inzektor Exostag now, and this is the new Inzektor Xyz monster out of Galactic Overlord. He's pretty cool. He uses two level 5s to become a rank 5, which is really easy to do, even though if you look through the deck, or when you look through the deck you saw, there's no natural level 5s, but the Inzektor Ladybugs will give the ability to bring him out really, really easily. And by detaching one of his Xyz material, you can take a monster out of your opponent's graveyard or one monster they control, equip it to him, and he gains attack equal to half that monster's attack. Comboing him with Inzektor Gigamantis and doing things like taking control of their Red Eyes Metal, lot of fun. Lot of fun. One copy of Leviair the Sea Dragon, one number 30 Acid Golem, one number 17 Leviathan Dragon, one Inzektor Exabeetle, still a very good card, one number 39 Utopia, one Giga Brilliant, number 20, and then I have one Ancient Fairy Dragon. The Ancient Fairy Dragon is going to get switched out for probably a Tyrius here in the next couple weeks when the Battle Pack comes out. One copy of Scrap Dragon. I have actually 2 copies of Stardust Dragon in here right now. One copy of Black Rose Dragon. One copy of Allied Justice Catastor. One copy of Magical Android, and one Bionic Dragon of the Ice Barrier. I'm also looking at putting in Underground Arachnid into my extra deck, and that'll probably replace one of the Stardusts that are currently in there because I'm not running Starlight Road anymore. Finally, onto my side deck. It's changed up a little bit. One of the cool little changes that I've made is I'm now running 2 copies of Electric Virus. This is to deal a lot with the Heretic stuff that's coming out, plus Dragon Swarm that's gotten really popular, so that'll help me deal with the dragons. By discarding this little guy, you can take control of one dragon your opponent controls until the end phase, and he's really great because since you're discarding him straight to the graveyard, it's the light in the graveyard if you want to go Chaos, plus you can't negate it with an effect failure, so it's a lot of fun. Also, the fact that he's a level 3 gives you some more Xyz options, which just add bonuses. In addition, I'm also going to have one Card Trooper in my side deck. That's just in case I need to speed up a little more, get you a little bit extra draw power. Once again, level 3, very helpful. So I got my 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 2 copies of Royal Decree. Royal Decree, keep in mind, awesome in this build because Royal Decree is another one of those cards you can send off with B-Tron. And so use the Royal Decree, block your opponent's trap cards, and then you have your own set spell or trap cards still on your back row. So use B-Tron, get rid of the Royal Decree, and reactivate all of yours. Thunder King Ryos, times 2. I'm going to run 1 Burial from the Different Dimensions still in my extra. That's really to deal with the Macrocosmos. 2 copies of Light Imprisoning Mirror. Light Imprisoning Mirror also goes once again right after the Heretics, right after the Dragon Sworn players. 1 copy of Trap Eater. Got to get rid of those skill drains. That's part of the reason I went up to 3 copies of MST, was just skill drain in abundance. And finally, I still have 1 copy of Starlight Road in my side deck, which is part of the reason right now I have 2 copies of Stardust Dragon in my extra deck, but I will likely be switching that out once I get the Underground Arachnid and finding another card to go in that spot. I have a handful of cards that I'm looking at right now. I've thought about just putting in the Compulse. I've thought about putting the Pot of Avarice back into my side deck in case I want to do that option, but I really don't think that'll ever come into play. I thought about also using 1 copy of Inzektor Hopper in there. But we'll have to see what happens. So, that is the new Inzektor deck. I hope you guys enjoyed this. My next video is going to be another video on Yubel, actually. It's going to be a totally different Yubel deck than the ones you've seen before. It's actually not my Yubel deck. It's my friend Chris Willis' Yubel deck, and I'm going to be speaking with him a little bit in that video for you guys so you can get a really good idea. And that's actually going to an email that I got, and I just want to say I really appreciate the emails and the props on my deck builds. I really, thank you very much. And so we're going to have a special Yubel Light Swarm coming to you that is extremely good, and so look forward to that. Alright guys, keep dueling. Harley Cards with you. Peace.